O gracious God, Heavenly Father, I thank you, I praise you, I adore you, Father, for bringing me here into this congregation of your people and giving me an opportunity to speak in front of everyone. Father, you know about me, Father, I never spoke in front of such a congregation. This is the first time I am witnessing you in front of such a great crowd of your people. Father, I submit myself at your feet. Whatever I speak, please make me to speak from my heart, whatever you allow in your name to be glorified. Nothing I want to speak of my own knowledge, but I submit everything at your feet so that I speak about you, what I have realized and experienced in my life. I thank you and I praise you once again, Father. I offer this small prayer in the name of your Son and my Savior, Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen. Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
As I pray, this is the first time I am coming in front of such a big crowd and speaking and witnessing about Lord Jesus. First of all, my name is Satish and I am from a Hindu background and I used to do idol worshipping, and I am the only one right now who is believing in Lord Jesus, and still my parents, they were not believing. And in my childhood, from my 5th class to 8th class, 5th to 10th, I used to do fasting, and I used to do fasting for Lord Goddess. And I am so orthodox that I used to bring my water, going to a municipal tap, and use that water for preparing the food. I used to give my mother, I used to bring a bowl of water from tap, and I used to ask my mother to cook from that water, and nobody should use that water for any other purpose. So I was in such an orthodox manner. But even while I was doing my engineering and in my intermediate also, so I used to daily go and visit temples, and I used to meditate half an hour or 45 minutes in the temple. I used to meditate a lot. But during all this course, I never knew about Lord Jesus. In my childhood, I got a friend, but I used to play with him, but I never knew about Lord Jesus. First, I want to tell you how I came to know about Lord Jesus. I was married to a Catholic girl, and she is my junior in my engineering. And during my engineering, I was hardly talking to her for 2 to 3 times, but I never spoke to her much. But after that, in the year 2003, I was searching for a job in Chennai. During that time, she was doing her MTech in IIT Madras. At that time, I used to meet her, and then we were interested in each other, but actually our beliefs were totally different. She is very much into Catholic belief, and she loves God a lot. And even though we like each other, and it took almost 4 years for compromising. So one day she asked me very clearly, if you want to marry me, I am okay, but you never ask me to change the religion, because I cannot change my religion and I cannot change my belief from Lord Jesus. That is what she asked. But at that time, my faith was like this. I was thinking Lord Jesus is also one of the God like Hindu gods. So I was treating him as one of the God, but I never knew that he is the only God. That is what my belief is. So we had a lot of struggle for getting married, and I want to tell my parents, and then I want to get married, and we had a lot of struggle, and we had hardly a 9 months of gap in age, and she is also getting old, and her parents were not interested to marry me. So we had a struggle, and then we got married. And then after our marriage, I used to see her. She used to pray a lot every day, going into the room, and she used to pray. At that time, I did not understand what exactly she was doing. But before that also, when we were in Chennai also, I used to go along with her to church. I used to take her to church. She used to pray, and I used to go inside, and I used to just pray, but I don't know how to pray. I used to just close my eyes and used to come back along with her. But after my marriage, I used to see her. I used to force also sometimes to take her to temple. So that is my faith. At that time, I was thinking Lord Jesus is one of the God, but I never thought that he is the only God and I has to believe only in him. So at that time also I used to go to temples, but I used to force a couple of times and then she prayed and then she cried in front of me. Then I felt like something I am doing wrong. Then I told her, from now onwards I will not ask you to come, but I used to continue. I never thought that that is wrong, so I used to continue. So she used to pray and she used to ask me to come for church every Sunday. I used to go along with her. And she loves Bible so much, even though she doesn't understand much. Because I'm telling frankly, because most of the times she used to read New Testament, and while she was praying, she used to read the Bible and she used to sing songs. And initially I used to go with her for church, but I never used to pray with her in the house. After some days, I thought, okay, let me also pray with her. Then I used to pray with her. At that time, one day I felt like, why don't we read Bible along with her? So I used to read Bible for a couple of days. Whenever I asked her any doubt, she doesn't have answer. She doesn't have answer. That is what I felt very bad at the time. You're reading every day, you're praying to God, but you don't have answers for what is written in the Bible. So that is the first thought I got when I was talking to her at that time. But still, I did not realize that Lord Jesus is the only God and He is the Savior and I am the sinner and I was cleansed by His precious blood. I never knew about it. And one more thing what I have missed to tell you is like, we got married in a Catholic church and the priest asked me, are you believing God? I thought like believing in God is like, I felt like He is also one of the God. So I said, okay, I am believing in God. And my marriage happened in Catholic church. And then after that, during her prayers, and there are so many situations in my life, she used to give very importance to the Bible. In my house, suppose if I keep a mobile on the Bible, she used to feel very bad. She used to tell me, don't keep anything on Bible, it is very precious to me. But one time what I felt was, you're making it, this is a small book and you're saying that this is very valuable, I don't agree with it. So a couple of times we had a discussion and one time I threw the Bible and within this Bible there are few papers torn out. And after that day she went into a room, she cried a lot. She cried for hours and then somehow I felt like I did something mistake. And I went and I also prayed with her and I said, this is my mistake. But I did not realize that what mistake it was. But I thought I have done some mistake, but I did not know completely what I have done. That is how my spiritual life was during the first years of my family life. And then in 2011, I came here to Chicago to work in BP. And then when I was working there, I was going to church as well as temples. So Saturday I used to go, there is a place called Aurora, there is a temple, Lord Venkateshwara temple. So on Saturdays I used to go to temple. On Sunday morning I used to go to Catholic church. So that's how but at that time I never missed church. But I used to go to regularly church and as well as to the temple. But I never realized that I am doing wrong. While I was doing that, because like 2011 I am here, 2012 I was doing the same thing. 2013 I again came here to Chicago to the same client for work again. So during that time somehow God was speaking to understand the Bible. Somehow He was telling me to read the Bible. So first time I started reading Bible from the New Testament. So when I was reading the New Testament, I completed the New Testament completely within 4 weeks, but I did not understand completely. There are so many questions because there are so many verses which are related to the Old Testament, but I don't know what is Old Testament. And even my wife never read Old Testament. She always read New Testament, and whenever there are some verses, so she used to tell me like, I do not know what it means. So I have a strong feeling to know what exactly these words or whatever these verses speaks about. So during that time, one day I was sitting in the office and I was talking to one of my colleagues, and his name is Balaji, most of the people here knows. And I was asking him, I came to know that he was telling like on Sunday I am going to church. By the name I never thought that he is going to church actually. So on that day he told that he is going to a church. Then I asked him, Okay, if I come to your church and if I ask my doubts, will they clarify? Because I am also reading Bible, but I did not understand so many things. So I am looking for someone who can answer my questions. So he told, yeah, you can definitely come. And one more thing is like the whole church is from your place. So everybody speaks Telugu. So I thought, okay, let me go. And surprisingly, on that Friday, there is a Bible study. But he forgot to call me. But somehow it was there in my mind to go and see whether I will get some answers for the questions what I have. So I messaged him and then he told, brother, I am coming to your place and I will pick you and I will take you to the Bible study. That is when the first time I have attended a Bible study and to a non-Catholic faith. Till that time I never ever attended any church. I never knew anybody from a non-Catholic faith. That is the first time I have come across somebody who is from a non-Catholic faith. So in the Bible study I have seen. So I used to compare. In the initial days I used to compare a lot. What is it different from Catholic faith? What exactly they are doing? So why they are dividing? So initially I have one more doubt also, like, so in Hindus there are so many gods, but we never fight about any god. We are always united. So we will never say that your God is great or my God is great. But when I came initially into this faith, from after knowing the non-Catholic faith, I got this doubt couple of times and I asked so many of my brothers here also. Here we have, everybody says that God is one and that is Jesus Christ. But why we have divided the one God into so many denominations? That doubt I have for so many years. So I was thinking about that apart from my normal doubts from the Bible. So that is how I have attended the first Bible study, which is apart from the Catholic belief. Even most of you doesn't know that even after coming to the non-Catholic church also, I used to go to Catholic church at the morning. I used to attend the mass in the morning at 6 o'clock and then I used to attend our church in the afternoon session. So I used to regularly do both the things. What I used to think in my mind, something used to tell me from my heart is like, I am going to the same Lord. I am going to Jesus Christ. I want to talk to Him. I want to hear and I want to spend in His presence for more time. I never differentiated whether it is a Catholic or whether it is a non-Catholic belief, because I am just looking into the Lord and I just want to feel Him wherever I go. That is what I got in my heart. So I was continuing with that thought for so many years and then I came to know about Brother Bhat Singh, and then one of my brother told me that there are a couple of books which Brother Bhat Singh has written. So I asked my wife to send those books. I started reading those books. Whenever I read those books, one thing what used to caught me is like, so he used to talk to God as if he is talking to a neighbor. So that is what it is written very much clearly. God told me to go there, give me a 5 rupees to a old widow. So there are so many situations like that he is talking. So I got a feeling like, do I feel in the similar way? Will God talk to me, even to me also? I got that feeling couple of times, but in that situation, what I felt is like, first I need to understand the whole Bible. Then I got that feeling and then I started reading the Bible and God gave me a very good opportunity. For last 2 years, from 2013 March to 2015 April, I am here. Mostly I used to work for 15 minutes in my office. I don't have much work. That much empty time I am having. So God gave me a thought like, why don't you spend your time in reading the Word? So I used to read Bible even in my office. So I used to keep the Bible on my big monitor and I used to read. Daily I used to read almost 7 to 8 hours with lot of doubts I used to have. And in the beginning I used to write and compare how it is different from Hindu culture, how is it different, what the Catholics are thinking and how is it different this. So many doubts I used to have and I used to make a note of lot of books I have with lot of doubts and so many questions. So initially I used to go to so many brothers and I used to ask them, what does this verse mean? I am understanding like this. So there are differences. No brother or nobody could answer me like what I am thinking, like what has given me some proper answer. So in that course of time, I started reading and I started praying the God, and God has given me a lot of answers. So I used to have so many questions in my mind, and even most of the people here from the church knows that I don't know how to worship Lord. I don't know. Because I used to go to the church, I used to kneel down, the entire church will worship, but I am the only one who will not worship. That has happened for almost 9 months. 9 months I was like that. I have a zeal to pray, but I do not know how to pray. And I could not open my mouth as well. Sometimes I used to try, but I could not open my mouth. And I just want to tell one incident. That is how God will, that is when I thought like this is how God will speak to me. On 31st of December, I was very much prepared. Today I need to worship in front of everyone in the church. I came to the church very late. I am the late comer in the church. I used to come late because I just want to avoid worship. In the initial times, the worship used to go for almost 1 hour 15 minutes. But the main focus or the reason why I started coming to the church is to clarify my questions and to know more word, but not for worship or nothing like that. I was thinking like I am peaceful whether I am going to a Catholic church or to any other place, but I am coming to this particular place to have answers for my questions, and I want to know more word, and I need to understand the entire Bible. That is the main reason I used to come to the church. So on 31st of December, I prepared in my home, like today anyhow I have to come to the church and I have to pray and I have to worship. I have to worship anyhow today. So I came late, and by the time I came there, another 2 people worshipped, and Anna has closed the worship session. So I was having a lot of burden at the time. I was closing my eyes and I was telling, even today I prepared, but I could not worship in front of anyone. And even at that time, I do not know that there will be a promise cards or something and we have to pick. That is the first time I came to know that there will be promise cards and we have to pick, and Lord will be giving some promise to you in your future. That is the first time I came to know. Then I was talking to God, God, give me a nice promise. This is how I am. I cannot even express because I do not know how to worship, but you know me from my heart. Then on that day I have taken the promise card, and after looking that one, I cried for almost 10 to 15 minutes. It says like, be not afraid, but speak. That is what God has spoken to me. And immediately I went home and I kept that promise by the side of the door. I want to see that promise whenever I come out of my door, whenever I come to a church, I want to worship. So fortunately, I do not even know that on January 1st also there will be a worship service. So on 1st January I came. So I was praying, I need to worship today anyhow. So I was praying with a lot of burden, and somehow I could start praying from that day. So I started praying on that day, but I know that I was very shivering on the day. Words were not coming from my mouth, but I started praying from that particular day. So I can say like this January 2015, January 1st was my first worship towards the Lord. So I could able to manage myself and worship the Lord, and I felt very happy on that day. And from that day I thought like I never ever leave a particular chance of worshiping the Lord. So from that day onwards, whenever I come to the church, I make myself to pray and worship Lord. So somehow God is also leading me in that particular way. That is the first incident which has happened to me. It is not the first incident, but this is one of the incident. And before January 1st in last year also, I was reading through the Bible, and when I came to the Acts and Apostle Paul, regarding the Apostle Paul, at that time I was thinking like how fool I am, because whenever my wife was telling that this is a precious book, I was just taking it very light. But I do not know how great book it is for each and every human being. And this is what the actual life and truth of the life. So on that particular day I came to know, whenever I am reading this book, sometimes I used to watch some testimonies. So sometimes what I felt was like, this is my life. When I was going to the Catholic church, when I was praying in my house with my wife, I never felt that I am a sinner. But the first time I felt I am a sinner when I read the Bible, and when I am trying to understand the word, that is the first time I felt that I am a great sinner. And till that time, I can tell you so many examples. Even though I am going to a church, I used to drink, I used to smoke in house. My wife knows, she don't want me to do that. But I used to do all those things in my house also. So, but I used to tell my wife, this is nothing. This is common. That is how I used to feel. But as soon as I read the Bible, within 1 month, somehow I do not know, I stopped everything. And my wife was asking, how did you change? Even she doesn't know. I told, I don't know. I was reading the Bible and I stopped everything. I used to watch a lot of movies. I don't know that people, I used to think that everybody will watch movies, everybody will enjoy. First time when I met the church members, they never ever speak about movies. They never ever say that go to movie or go for any enjoyment. That is when I came to know that there are people who don't watch movies and they are surviving this world. That is how I felt, and then I understood, okay, this is the place where I even need to change myself. And I used to ask and argue with so many people here, is there any verse saying that do not watch movies or do not drink? Because most of the places it will say about wine and it will say so many things, but why people are not going to movies? So during all these questions, one day I came to know from the word that it came into my heart like, okay, what are you getting from the movies? That is the basic question I got. Sometimes in movies, no movie is good to watch. There will be some entertainment. It's like entertainment, and it will lead to some other kind of way which Lord doesn't want us to go. So that is the answer. So for all my doubts, whenever I get a doubt in my prayers or while reading Bible, I used to get a normal answer from the God. You think and you will receive the answer. I used to think like that, and then I used to understand, okay, this is what God is telling to me. And from then onwards, I used to depend on God. So slowly, my wife visited here for the first time. I was arguing with her for initially saying that there are a lot of defects or there are a lot of gaps in the Catholic faith. I used to tell her so many things and she used to cry, no, you're saying wrong. Then I told her one thing, God gave me a privilege to tell her that, why don't you read the Old Testament also? You are reading only New Testament. Try to read Old Testament. Then I told her that from today onwards, we will spend 1.5 hour every day in reading the Old Testament. We started reading that every day in my home. So slowly she is understanding. Today, my wife says that even now, the prayer of my wife was changed. Initially, the prayers were totally different. She believed in all the Catholic prayers. So she used to pray like, there are common prayers in Catholic belief, so we used to pray with those prayers. But finally, the things keep changing and Lord is leading us in the right way. That is what we definitely feel. So, and today I came here to witness in front of everyone because today I am ready to take the water baptism, and I just want to tell also that it took almost 1.5 years for me to take this decision, because I'm just praying to God and I am asking God so many things to work in my life. The first thing is like, initially last year when I was talking to my wife, I was asking my wife like, I want to take a baptism, because when I was taking the baptism in a Catholic church, I do not know what God is. But now I know, so I want to go for baptism. She was telling like, there should not be a second baptism. Why you want to go for baptism? Your baptism is already done. So that is where my first break was. So then I thought, okay, let me still read the Bible and let me understand. Instead of asking so many people, last year also I was here for 18th convocation, and my Shimiana is there, and Sriana and Kanna, everybody was asking, Anna, are you prepared or ready for the baptism? They were asking for a good purpose, but in my heart, I know that I'm not ready, because I have a lot of doubts in me, and I want nobody to clarify, but only Lord. So I'm just looking at Him, and I'm praying for His path and His will to make me proceed. So during this 1 year, what I observed is God made my wife to understand the true word. Now she is reading Bible every day. Previously we used to talk about worldly things, your mother or my mother or sisters or something, but now whatever time we speak, we are speaking about the word. She is getting a lot of doubts. She is asking me, and I generally share word every day with her. So this is how God is leading me every day in His word. That is one thing. And second thing, I have a burden. Actually, I love my mother a lot, and in my childhood, I used to feel like I love my mother so much. Whenever she dies, even I want to die. Such a love I have towards my mother. But my mother has an expectation when we had a marriage that her son will definitely bring my wife into Hindu belief. That is what her thinking was. But slowly, while I was reading the Bible, I was moving away from the idol worshipping. I was almost away from the idol worshipping, that they were observing. And one day I visited my hometown and they kept a discussion and everybody was questioning. We were observing you. You are moving away from our belief and you are not making her into our belief rather than bringing her. You are going into that belief. So I told them, I am feeling more happy and more peace in this one. That is how I was telling them. And I also made my family never ever to force my wife to go to a temple or to do a puja or anything. So that is where I am blocking my family completely. So because of all these things, I got a lot of gap between my parents and myself in my personal life. So I never shared with anyone, but I have a great burden regarding them. And I was praying to God and I was asking Him so many things, because previously whatever happens in the house, they used to discuss with me. Now for last 1.5 years or 2 years, they never say what is happening in the house. I do not know what is going in house. I don't know where they are. Even though we are staying in same place in Hyderabad, and my brother used to stay just half kilometer from my place. My mother and father will come to his place, but they will not visit my place. Even if they visit also, they will come for 15 minutes and they go back. So there are so many things happening, but I just ask God to give strength to follow Him, because I'm just asking Him, I do not want to deviate from you, but I want to follow you. Give me the strength. So that is what I'm just asking Him in each and every prayer, and I am asking all my friends and brothers also here so many times to pray for me. So this is what was happening. And for last year I am not ready, and this year also for last 2 months I was praying, God, lead me and tell me whether I need to take baptism or not. So if you want me to take the baptism, I have 3 requirements. First thing, my wife should not say anything. I want to tell my wife and she should not say anything. And second thing, I will go to the 19th convocation, but Shimanna or Sriyanna or Kanna should not ask me about the baptism, because I do not want to go by somebody's word, but I want to go and tell myself to them. So please make that arrangement for me. And the third thing is like, before I take, I want to talk to my family and I want to tell them straightforward and give me the strength for that. So, what happened was, when I came here, nobody was asking. That was a big surprise to me. Sriyana was not asking, Shimana was not asking, and Kanna was not asking. But when I was leaving from this place in the month of April, Kanna was asking, Anna, are you coming to 19th convocation and are you prepared for baptism? But after coming here, he was not asking. So this is what I felt like God was answering my question, one of my question. And second thing, I asked my wife. I told her, this is what I am feeling inside. So what do you say? So if you are feeling like that, I do not have anything to stop you. She told clearly. So that is the second thing. Third thing, yesterday I was sitting here in the building and I was talking to my mother. I called her and I was talking to her for 30 minutes, but I'm not getting strength or enough courage to tell her that I want to take this. But somehow I was praying inside and I told her, Mother, I am planning to take this. Then she asked me, so you're leaving us. So you're telling that when we die, you're not going to do anything. She was crying and she was scolding me like anything for 40 minutes. She was scolding and I was praying to God. She cut the phone. She told that you're no more to me. Then I was praying, God, Father, whatever I asked you, you have shown your answers. But I need to go to Shimiana and tell tomorrow. But I want one more answer or one more thing. What I want to hear from you is, please speak to me through your word. Yesterday night I was talking to Brother Chandra and Brother Arun. They were asking so many questions and I was talking to them and I'm telling what are my doubts and they were clarifying. And Brother Chandra was telling me, brother, you prayed, God will answer. So yesterday I prayed for half an hour. After 3:30 a.m. I was praying for half an hour till 4 o'clock and then I slept. In the morning I got up. I did not have any answer for me. I was still praying. I came here. I missed today family prayer and I came here for the first message. I was sitting here and people are singing, but tears are coming from my eyes. And then today suddenly Brother Russell was referring to a verse in Matthew's 5:24. Somehow I opened that Matthew's 5:24 and I did not see Matthew's 5:24. Instead of Matthew's 5:24, I was reading Matthew's 5:23. Let us see what it is. No, that's not the one. Actually, I can say the verse. It says like, all men should honor the son. So the statement is, all men should honor the son. So, yeah, John 5:23. John 5:23.
తండ్రిని గణపరచునట్లుగా అందరూ కుమారుని గణపరచవలెనని తీర్పు తీర్చుటకు సర్వాధికారము కుమారునికి అప్పగించి ఉన్నాడు. కుమారుని గణపరిచిన వాడు ఆయనను పంపిన తండ్రిని గణపరిచిన వాడు.
Can you read in English only the first part of the verse?
That all men should honor the Son, even
Yes,
as they.
That's it. So that is where I got the answer from the Lord. Yesterday I was saying like, I am believing in God. I was talking to Brother Chandra and I am telling him, I was saved and I know that I am believing in only Jesus Christ. So what is the urgency of taking baptism? I was asking him that question and I got that answer today, saying that just to honor the Son. In what way we can honor the Son? Because he showed us a model. He himself took baptism and he is telling that whatever is the path, even he will tell to John the Baptist that he will not agree to give the baptism to Jesus and he will say that what is the will of God, please do it. So in the same way, we need to honor the Son. So that is the part of the verse which was speaking to me today morning. I was crying and then somehow it was speaking to me a lot. Immediately after that, after the sermon, I went to room and I was calling to my wife and I asked her to open the same thing and read it and then I prayed for a couple of minutes and then I told wife that now I am going to Shimeon and I will tell that I am going to take baptism. So then I came here and I told. So till today afternoon, nobody knows that I am going to take water baptism here. So this is what I was actually expecting from Lord also, because I was asking him, please make nobody to ask me. So he was answering each and everything for me. So I thank God and I know that so many people here are praying for me for my water baptism and they are all praying for me for quite a long time. And I can definitely say now that Lord has heard my prayer and also everyone's prayer here. So this is the answer for my prayer as well as everyone's prayer. Thank God and praise God.